Hi, everybody. Oh. Well, when last we met, it was Easter. Perfect time to talk about Jesus. And we talked about how rather than being the exception, that Jesus is what we call the way shower, or the example of how we too can unleash our divine potential, how we can access that eternal essence within us, and how we can live the highest, we call it Christ consciousness, how we can be the divine beings that we really are and express that divinity in amazing and miraculous ways. Wow. We sound like superheroes, don't we? Oh. You know, I have to admit, it was a whole lot easier to think that I was less than, that I was incapable, that I was somehow flawed from the beginning, that I popped out of the womb with some kind of sin nature, and there was no way, no how I could ever be acceptable in the sight of God, that I was less than perfect, whole and complete in and of myself. It was a whole lot easier to think that way, because what we talk about, divine potential, eternal essence, Christ consciousness, living a life that's amazing and miraculous, that means stepping up and taking responsibility for my life, for every aspect of my life, for my emotional self, my responses, my reactions to life and to relationships, my mental self, my thoughts, my beliefs, my perceptions, my preconceived ideas and judgments, my physical self, my social self, my spiritual self, all of me. And when I'm talking about taking responsibility, I in no way am talking about a political stance or an economic idea or a social idea like being a responsible citizen. Or and I hope that idea of taking responsibility doesn't trigger you like when you were a teenager and your parents were trying to drill it into you to be a responsible adult. No, when I talk about taking responsibility, I'm talking about cherishing your body temple and every aspect of it. I'm talking about acknowledging who you really are, appreciating every aspect of yourself, and most of all, activating everything about you, knowing that there is nothing and no one holding you back. There is nothing and no one somewhere out there separate from you trying to thwart your efforts to be happy and successful. There's no demonic little devil trying to drag you down to the depths of despair. No, 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 no. There's only one power and presence in the universe, one energy, one life force, God the good, that is in and through and all things. When I said, what did I say? Demonic little whatever. I thought of Flip Wilson. Remember him, the comedian from the 60s? And he had some character. He said, the devil made me do it. Remember that? I use that on Kathy sometimes. She'll say, what happened to those blueberry scones? I thought we could have those for breakfast. The devil made me do it. What happened to that box of chocolates that my client gave me? The devil made me do it, honey. You might be familiar with the husband who, he was just livid. He found a receipt that his wife had bought a dress, a $250 dress, and he confronts her with it. He said, how can you do this? We're trying to save money here. And she said, well, I was standing outside looking at this dress in the window, and I heard this voice that said, you look really fabulous in that dress. You should go try it on. Before I knew it, I was in the shop trying on that dress. And then I hear this voice, and it was just like the devil speaking to me, and it said, you look really fabulous in that dress. You should buy it. And the husband says, well, you know how to handle temptation like that. You say, get behind me, Satan. And she said, that's exactly what I did. I said, get behind me, Satan. And then I heard this voice from in back of me that says, it looks fabulous from back here, too. Our theme for this month is living a Christ-like life, and I switched my titles on to Cindy. Next week I'll be talking about celebrating new beginnings, since it is a new beginning for me and for us. But today my talk is entitled The Path to Illumination. And I know that word illumination kind of conjures up an image of white robes and golden halos. But illumination means understanding and seeing the essence of life as if it's all aglow. And maybe you've had that experience in meditation, or maybe in a quiet time out in nature, when it just seems like everything opened up. Your eyes are open, your heart is open, and you could kind of feel the vibration, the energy of things. It's as if it was all ablaze, all aglow, and it made sense. And illumination means understanding how everything's connected and interrelated. But most of all, illumination means that the light comes on. You begin to see the way more clearly. You have more wisdom. You have more understanding. You have more insight about how life works and how you fit into that, and how this stream of energy, or this flow of life, that when you get into that flow, that your life manifests in amazing and miraculous ways. Jesus was illumined. He called himself the light of the world. If he were here today, he might say, I'm all lit up. And he said that we are the light of the world. We're all lit up too. We have the same capabilities, the same divine potential to experience an amazing and miraculous life, to be illumined, to follow in the footsteps of the way shower down the path to illumination. So last week I shared with you a story about Jesus. We don't have a whole lot of stories about Jesus, but the one that I shared with you is about Jesus in the temple at age 12. You might be familiar with that. And I believe that that story is extremely symbolic. It's extremely metaphysical. And I believe that it holds the key to helping us to understand how we can walk the path to illumination. It's a simple story. It just says that Jesus, as a child, was in the temple. On a deeper level, that says to us that there's a childlike essence within us. You're saying, well, yeah. There's a part of us that has always been a child, isn't there? And there's a part of us that will always be a child. Some people want to call it a childlike essence, whatever you call it, that part of us that wants to play. Anybody like to play? I love to play. I love to imagine and to create. I love to make up games. And Cindy and Dave here play bridge. That part of us that loves to dance and to twirl and to tumble and to jump and to skip and to climb trees and do cartwheels. And more research is saying how beneficial that is to our health, just to move. And they're finding out that it's not so much that you have a regular exercise routine, it's just that you move. Just get out and do some gardening, or bake some bread or some fudge, or go out and buy a dog that needs to take a walk. Just get out and move. It's very healthy for you. That part of us that loves to sing, there's a massive amount of information that says singing is beneficial for your health. In fact, there's a recent study out by, I get so excited about this stuff. There's a recent study by Yale and Harvard that says that singing can actually increase your life expectancy, because it helps to strengthen your heart, it helps to strengthen your lungs, it strengthens your vocal cords, it tones your facial muscles, it throws a whole bunch of oxygen into your bloodstream and boosts your immune system. It can reduce anger and anxiety and depression, because your body, while you're singing, produces those feel-good hormones, endorphins. So while you're singing, all those happy hormones are dancing around in your body, making you feel good. And when we sing in community, like we do here on Sunday mornings, it gives us a sense of togetherness and a bonding, a sense of being supported, and a sense of belonging, and a sense of shared endeavor as we try to begin and end at the same time and follow the bouncing ball on our new TV screen. All those things, that essence within, are have many life-enhancing benefits. But this story about Jesus doesn't really portray him participating in those kind of activities. It says that Jesus was in the holy temple, surrounded by teachers of spiritual things, I guess we could say that, asking questions and listening. There's a part of us that wants to look at life with a sense of wonder. There's a part of us that wants to see each experience with a feeling of fascination. There's a part of us that wants to be endlessly curious and to learn and to grow and to imagine and to create. There's a part of us that wants to look at life through the eyes of a child. There's a part of us that wants to explore life with a beginner's mind. You might be familiar with that term, beginner's mind. It's a part of a concept from Zen Buddhism called Shoshin. And Shoshin means an openness, an eagerness to approach a subject or an experience without preconception, without a preconceived idea, just like a beginner or a novice approaching it for the first time. You know, Bruce Lipton, in his book, The Biology of Belief, talks about how we have these conditioned behavioral responses that are hardwired into our brains. They're called habits. Habits of thinking, habits of responding, habits of perceiving, habits of belief. And hardwire, as adults, that word fits pretty good. They're pretty hardwired in there because we've been responding to life, and many times going down that road, and there's a deep grooves in it because of our preconceived ideas, our assumptions, or our perceptions based on our experience and our programming. But what if we approached life situations with a beginner's mind, with an openness and an eagerness? What if we approached each experience in our life with the eyes of a child? What if you sat in the middle of your body temple, surrounded by your teachers, and asked questions and listened? And I imagine when I said that something resonated in you that personalized that idea for you. Maybe you're going through something in your physical body. What if you visualized yourself sitting in the middle of your body temple, surrounded by your teachers, and just simply asked, what must I do to maintain a sense of health and vitality in my life? Maybe something like that. Or maybe you're going through an emotional situation in your life. What if you just visualize yourself sitting in the middle of your body temple with a sense of wonder and a sense of awe, just fascinated by every aspect of your emotions, just like a child when they're inspecting a butterfly or a caterpillar. Just so intrigued by your emotional makeup, and in that place, surrounded by your teachers, whatever that means to you. Love is a good teacher. Joy is a good teacher. And asked, what must I release? How can I find relief? What must I do to have peace and harmony in my heart? Or maybe you're dealing with a question or a mental aspect of some sort. What if you visualized yourself sitting in the middle of the body temple, and just with an openness and an eagerness, a sense of awe about this wonderful ability that you have and all the powers of your mind. And in that place, surrounded by your teacher, wisdom is a good teacher. Just ask, how can I find mental clarity? Something like that. Do you want to be clear in life? Do you want to understand why things happen or how this came to be? Don't you just wish somebody would shine a little light on this health situation or this money situation or this emotional quagmire that you're going through? Well, that light is you. And that light is within. The Master Teacher Jesus said, unless you become as a little child, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. And we know the kingdom of heaven is where? Within. So what this story about Jesus in the temple says to us is that the path of illumination begins within, by tapping into that part of us that is pure and authentic, and then responding to life with the heart of a child. So this morning I want to encourage you to play, and to dance, and to sing, and to become like a little child. But most of all, I want to encourage you to cherish your body temple. Every aspect of it. You are sacred. You are divine. And you are here to live an amazing and miraculous life. And I bless each one of you with all success.